Welcome back. If you're just joining us, Sunrise is the name of the program. Tinangopumina gogaye pang'ono pamenepo kuti tingo khaonga titacheza kaye komano mmene nanenera mucha pali alendo amene ali nafe mauno mu studio, and alendo athu amene akuchokera kutali kwambiri, akwera ndege apezeka kuti adutsa madzi mpaka afika kuno ku Malawi, akuchokera ku America, kuchokera ku Rod Staff Ministries. They'll be hosting a crusade. They'll be taking place Chaku area 21 uko Masinta side, and of course they're here in studio to chat to us about the work that they'll be doing on the ground. Kupatula ku lalika iwonso akhala kugwira ntchito so zachipatala kuona anthu odwala masiku awiri amene akubwera msogolo. Mneni ngopempha kuti mukhale pomwepo pamene tikhale tikucheza nawo ndikukhulupirira nanunso mufuna kudziwa kunena kuti kodi akuthandiza mtundu wanji pa nkhani zachipatala zimenezi kuti nanunso mukhoza kufika kuzapeza thandizo malo amenewa. Khalani pomwepo. Sunrise on Zodiac. Guest in studio all the way from the USA. Thank you so much for joining us.
It is our joy to be here with you.
Fantastic. Of course, I've already had Dr. Sheri on Zodiac.
Yes.
So I'm glad that you're here. But I think for most people, they did see when you guys arrived at the airport.
Wow.
Yes. So welcome. So we've got here Dr. Rod Dennis and Dr. Sheri Prentice. Yes. And of course, you've got a crusade coming up, and a little bit more than a crusade, you'll also be reaching out on the medical front.
That is correct.
So maybe let's first off start from, who are these people, Ruth? Where are they coming from? What are they doing here?
Well, it's like the song what we used to sing when we go, when we were growing up. Everywhere we go, people want to know who we are and where we come from.
So we tell them.
Yes, that's all we tell them. So, again, this is Dr. Rod Dennis. I'm originally from Chicago, Illinois, but I live in Houston, Texas, and I make that distinction because I don't want people to think that I'm a Texan.
Because you're from Chicago.
I'm from Chicago.
It's fantastic.
The Windy City. And born and raised, and seminary trained and educated as a behavioral psychologist, specializing in industrial and organizational psychology.
Wow, okay.
It's a mouthful.
Yes, awesome. I'm sure that's helpful, the training that you have, considering all the people that you get to work with.
Exactly. I think that working in ministry and working with people in church, being a psychologist helps a whole lot to understand, causation. Because every problem that we come to experience, sometimes we put it off as some sort of spirit.
Yes.
Some sort of demonic activity, but some of them, the determinants are really causative of psychological trauma, emotional trauma, and it allows me the opportunity to properly assess and the situation and to help to remediate it, and not necessarily from a spiritual standpoint, but from a psychological standpoint, from a behavioral standpoint, to help them to adjust their own behavior.
Yes. Oh man, I love the holistic approach to human in that sense, that we're not just taking a spiritual step, but we're looking at the whole person. So I'm happy for that. Dr. Sheri?
I would agree. The role that I play within Rod Staff Ministries is as the divisional director for medical services. And my background is as well in psychology. I've been a physician for 31 years now. And so we both have the mind and the vision of how do we do this work where we're taking into account the whole man, physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. And, you know, for me, I get to meld medicine and ministry together.
Yes.
And my brother Rodney has the opportunity, because he is my big brother.
Wait, this is big brother?
This is literally...
We have the same mother.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. He's been my big brother all my life.
Yeah. So we ain't saying she's my brother. She means me, my biological brother. Yeah. We have the same mother.
Oh,
yes.
That is awesome.
So I'm not a brother from another mother. I'm a brother from the same mother.
That is awesome.
Yes.
The dynamics, though, of working with your sibling in ministry and life, and that must be exciting.
It is.
Story for another day, maybe?
Yes. We'll be back. We'll be back to
there are stories.
Yes.
But tell about the crusade.
So the crusade, you know, the Lord put it on our heart to come to Malawi because of the need. But the need is not just a spiritual need. The need is a social need. The need is a medical need. The needs are many. And so Jesus says that if you see your brother in need and you shut up your bowels of compassion, how dwell the love of God in you? And so we know that the message of God and the message of Jesus Christ was not about preaching about himself, but about preaching about the kingdom. And the real message of the kingdom is a holistic message. He says that I come that you might have life. Yes. But then he says, and more abundantly. And John, one of his disciples, or at least this is attributed to John, is saying, Beloved, speaking of God, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper and be in good health. Even as your soul prospers. So a true message of the king, of the kingdom, is holistic. It is to take care of you, mind, body, and soul. And so many times in ministry, we go after souls. Or we want to win souls. We want to win souls. But what's the purpose of winning somebody's soul, saving someone's soul, and their life condition is not changed? Getting their soul saved, but they still got sickness, disease, ailments, injuries. They still are undereducated, uneducated. They're not fed. They're not developed to the point where they can sustain their own life. And so how do you have that holistic life if only you're focusing on one aspect of their life or one aspect of their person, which is their soul? So, you know, we are looking, our ministry is I look at it like a chair. A good chair has 4 legs. And so our first leg is our crusades. That's where we, you know, can amass the group and the people. But then our second leg is medical, addressing those medical needs through and this week on Friday and Saturday, we'll be doing a free health screening. My sister will talk about a little bit about that momentarily. But then we're also looking at education. That's one of the other legs of our ministry, how we can provide educational services and support to communities where we find that there are deficiencies, where they find that there's lack. How can we bring the resources that are available to us, to them, to help to shore up and build them up in the areas where there are needs and where there are deficiencies. And the last leg of that is entrepreneurial and occupational development. How do you prepare people for the next stage in life or next career? How do they start on their own business? How do they develop their business from some concept or some hobby into a real business? How do they develop their skill sets to move as the world continues to move from an agrarian society or an agricultural society to being more informational and technology? How do you get the people prepared for jobs in technology? Because how do you go from, or even people that are works in mines, how do you get from working in gold mines to becoming a data miner? And so how do you get people to understand how to, opportunities in AI and some of the other emerging technologies? Well, we have the resources available and staff that that have specializations in those areas to prepare people and for the next stage, for the next career, for the next opportunity in their life. Again, that's part of the more abundantly.
Now, I know that as you've already hinted towards the medical screening that's going to take place, how are you then going to implement the other two? Because we know there's the crusade, the medical. How's the education and the entrepreneurial bit coming in? Are you hosting other sit downs, or how's that going to work?
Funny you should ask.
Funny you should ask.
We just left a meeting with the Office of the Minister of Education,
Awesome.
Ministry of Education, and talking about how we can bring the resources that are available to us that we have access to bring them for here in Malawi, and in looking at helping them to address some of the already identified challenges that they have in educating the youth in this country. I mean, all the way from primary, all the way into secondary and post-secondary education. Also, we're looking at opportunities with regards to doing, in the future, workshops, symposiums, seminary, that's my education degree in theology, but seminars to help people identify where their skills lie for career change, where their skills lie to be entrepreneurs. Because the reality is not necessarily everybody is geared or equipped to be an entrepreneur, but everyone is geared and equipped to better their skills.
Of course.
And better their occupational skills, their educational skills. And so our ministry looks at how we can bridge the gap. There's a passage in the Bible that says that God looked for someone to stand in the gap and couldn't find none. But then I like to say that God took a second look and found us.
Fantastic. Oh, man. I'm so happy for that. When we're looking then at the medical bit, I must say, I feel as spiritual people, most times we really don't want to look at health and connect it with faith.
Yes.
Unless there's prayer involved,
Yes.
but nothing beyond that, because that other side is a little gray.
Yes.
So how are we bringing faith and health in the same space?
Well, one, the person that is representing, it lives both. I am an prime example of a physician who's also a patient, who also loves the Lord, who also follows her doctor's directive and takes the medication that I need.
Yes.
And I'm a living witness that God healed me. I did the medicine, I did the chemo, I did the radiation, I take the medicines, but I did what I was instructed to do. I did what I could. And then I prayed and allowed God to do what I couldn't, because there were many additional challenges I could have faced, but I believe God protected me from them. But he still had every expectation that I would do everything that I can. And so I love these types of opportunities where we get to come and pour into a community. We will have 4 hours from 10 to 2 p.m., 2 days in a row, prepared to see 1,000 patients on each day, screening for TB, screening for cervical cancer, diabetes, high blood pressure, and we even brought some spectacles from the States with us, because we know that the aging population, we know that the vision declines as we age. And so trying to be as helpful as we possibly can, considering that this is our first, certainly not our last, the first of many visits to Malawi, attempting to come and do the most that we can so that the community, Malawi, the powers that be will understand and appreciate we mean what we say. And we say what we mean. And we're going to be present. We're going to be here. We give our all because we're committed to serve. Not doing so, we would be remiss in our responsibilities, not only in the titles that we carry, but in as children of God, we were placed here for service. Shame on us to be gifted so much in the midst of everything that we're going through, but not be able to reach out a helping hand to our fellow brothers and sisters. We have to.
So good. Oh, man. Cancer is obviously something that is pretty close to home, considering you yourself had cancer, breast cancer.
Yes.
And I'd love for you to make a specific call to the women. I know that we have Malawi's largest population there. The numbers are the girls and the women. And I know that sometimes we take a step back and we're mostly caring for others
all the time
and not thinking about self.
Yes.
Let's talk a bit about that.
Yes. I would make a plea that women, we must appreciate that if you don't take care of you, one, then who? And then who's going to take care of everyone that you're taking care of when you're long gone? It has to start with you, because you are the one that are going to be the example for your daughters and your sons. Women are the CEOs of the family. We control the medical, we control the health, we're working with the food, we're helping with the schoolwork. We are it. So be that pillar of strength and set that example. Get your screening. If you feel something wrong in your breast that you know is not right, don't push it to the side. Don't figure you'll get to it later. Get to it now, so that you'd have added years with your children, added years to be an example, and added years to serve in the kingdom. Come out for your cervical screening. If you've never had cervical screening before, this is your opportunity to get screened now. High blood pressure and diabetes. Oh my goodness. It could be minor changes in your diet, but you won't know unless you know what you're dealing with. Your health is crucial. You can't give the instruction you need to give because your mind is not fully healthy when your body is not healthy. You've got to connect them both. They do not operate separately. Medicine and science is not separate from faith. If you read the word, God meant for them to be hand in hand, not making science your God, but understanding and appreciating that God created the science so that we can have an understanding and work to help each other. If it wasn't for science, where would the nurses? There would be no need for nurses and doctors. How could I serve and lend a blessed, helping, healing hand if I was never gifted with the knowledge of medicine? So these are opportunities. God uses people to bless his kingdom. Certainly he can come down and do a number of supernatural things that would blow our minds and probably scare us crazy. But his intent was, I created you, Ruth, you, Apostle Rod, me, Dr. Sheri, for purpose. I want people to see me through you. Until I call you home. In the meantime, I see God in you, I see God in him, and people should see God in me.
What happens after screening?
Oh, good question.
Yes.
Okay, so we're so blessed. We're so blessed that we have the connection with the medical team here and have the connection with hospital here, that for the conditions that once they are determined to have a particular disease, they can receive the follow-up. We can get them scheduled. We even have certain basic medications that will be present so that as certain things are diagnosed there, individuals can receive certain rudimentary treatment while they're there.
Okay.
We're doing the best that we can. Again, first visit. And this gives us an opportunity now to understand what we'll be dealing with next time so we can continue to build and build and build.
And the medication will be available and free as the
Free
screening.
Exactly.
of charge, just like the screening,
Yes,
free
of
of charge.
Going back to the full picture now, what's going to happen in the next 2 days on Friday and Saturday, aside from the screening, the crusade itself? Who's going to show up? Because I know that you didn't come out alone.
Well, we have some of our crusade directors with us, and our director of education is with us. So we'll be doing assessments all the while. I mean, we continue to do assessing of the situation, of the conditions that are there. We're working with local leaders, local pastors to identify issues that in their congregation and with their people, again, so that we're constantly churning to understand fully the magnitude of the problems or issues, and then looking to remediate those that we can and come up with a strategy and plan to address the ones that we cannot right now, but we can later. Because we're not looking to work in isolation. We're looking to work in collaboration with others. I mean, we're looking to talk. We have meetings with the Ministry of Health of this nation, with the Ministry of Information of this nation. We've reached out to every corridor within our government. We reached out to our local congregations and pastors, reaching out to civic leaders, business leaders, all where we can, because we all must take part in the challenges that this nation faces. I believe, and I am told, now you have to correct me if I'm wrong, but someone told me, somebody told me that Malawi is the warm heart of Africa.
Oh, now that's the truth.
Okay,
Now, and my sister will tell you that one of the leading causes of, or leading health challenges around the world is heart disease.
Ooh.
So, with all of the issues that are prevalent in Malawi, one could argue that the heart has a disease. But where there is a disease, God has a cure.
Yes.
And we're not the cure, but we're a part of it. You know, you talked about prayer earlier, and we do not discount the worth and the value of prayer. But Jesus says that we are to watch and to pray. So that means observe, apply resources, the watch, you know, stand guard as a watch, you know, take the time, that's a watch. And looking every aspect of watching, and do that while you're praying. Because here's a little story, if I may. I'm a preacher, so I have to get a little preacher in.
Get into it.
And so everyone knows the story about Moses and the Red Sea, right? And so there they were, challenged because of the Red Sea being a barrier in front of them. And getting on the other side of the Red Sea was the Promised Land. And the Promised Land represented their future. Yeah. So in essence, that barrier prevented them from getting to their future. Then the problem got worse, because then the story goes, or as it goes, then Pharaoh's army is coming back from Egypt to take them back. And so, and that represented their past, because they had left there, and now their past is coming to take them back. All while that is going, can't get to the future, their past is coming to take them back. And now all the people around Moses is complaining and murmuring and complaining. Can you imagine the challenge, the burden of hearing millions of people complaining to you and blaming you solely for their problem? So Moses is confronted with what I call the triple whammy. Can't get to the future. Doesn't like his presence with all the people talking about him. And his past is coming to take him back. And so in a situation like that, it seems the normal thing, the appropriate thing to do is to pray. God, don't you see? God, don't you know? God, don't you care? And then so he prays. And you know what God says to Moses on that challenging moment? Why are you troubling me with this matter? What is in your hands? That changed my life. What is in your hands? What do you have the ability to do? I put you on the earth. I placed you here, gave you the resources. I mean, with Moses, it was the rod.
Oh, Lord.
I thank you both for coming in. Mena kunenera ndimene munditu kuti chithandizo chilipo kumasintha kuchokera pa 17 mpaka pa 18 zakhala Friday ndi Saturday. Mama wakakhala kuchita kuona anthu amene sakupeza bwino kuti awathandizire kuwapima timatete, kucheka za cancer, TB, maso, maglasi abwera nawo, mankhwala azina ndi zina zomwe akhoza kuthandizira pompo zilipo, referral kuti mukhoza kupita kuti akawuthandizeni zonse ndi zoti zilipo ndithu. Kuchoka pamenepo afunanso kuti akaone mkati mwa munthu uno kuti okay, thupi ndi limene lithandiza, koma mzimu wako unolipotani kuti ukapezeka kuti nawe wakakumana ndi Yesu nthawi ikadzakwana kupita kumwamba mmene tonse timaganizira. And they're going to be there also just speaking to that as well, speaking to destiny, speaking to eternity, which is something that is definitely key as they're here. Ndeno invitation imene ndi anu nzaulere ndithu mukakhale ku Masinta ground Saturday ndi Friday imeneyi. Anthu ake ndi amenewa, anthu enaso amene abwera nawo akakhalaponso kumeneko. Did you pick up on any of that?
Friday and Saturday.
Messina grounds. I got that. I mean, I'm still catching up on my Malawi. I started to go in. I thought you were speaking in tongues at first. I'm like, hallelujah.
I thank you both for coming.
Oh, thank you for having us.
And I will definitely keep on, and I'm going to ask you to stick around. You're watching Sunrise on Zodiac.
God bless you.
Well, with that, we've come to the end of our program this morning. I do thank you for coming around, for spending the morning with us. Ndukhulupirira unena kuti mwatolako ziwiri zitatu. Weekend yanu mwaonakale sokuti yenda bwanji. Muna musanaganizire kuti kodi pajawu chipata kuti ukachekeseza yakuti nchani. Akunena kuti atithandizira pankhani ngati zimenezo za cancer, zati B ndi zina zotero. Ndeno make sure that you avail yourselves. Anthu amene mwinaso mwini ndi achikulire, olonso mwinaso ana amene mwinazikuoneka ngati maso sizikuenda mwina ndinu nomwe, make sure that you avail yourselves nanuso kumasintha maglasi ndi amene akunena kuti anyamula kuti tizitha kuona bwino maso angofunika ndithu ndi chithandizo chilipo chokwanira. Pamenepo ine nditsanzike, dzina langa ndi Ruth Kulaisi, tikumananso mawa mamawa. Mwakoma nonse.
Alright, you already know. Hey, what's a second candy sugar? Ngati ulipano funa kundiesa, akupotekesa wakutuma. Ngati wawile sandiesa, ngati wawile sandiwelenga, ngati wawile sandiesa, ngati wawile sandiwelenga. Nicotila only water, nicotila only water, nicotila only water, nicotila only water. Ineza chibana sikweni kwen, magwa chikondi seni sen, lipa wakaboa never pen. Ndio sandi futi say hey, pussy say bad energy in my life, nimawila mabobo to survive. If you wanna stay, nalo sikuluko sha. Tafuma pap, sunako seketa fuma pap. Nachila pap, se chikondi sina sila pap. Vibes only wanted out here. Sit me condas at the ile. Give me love and that's it. Go boy, you gon' need it. Ngati ulipano funa kundiesa, akupwetekesa
Nyika National Park is Malawi's largest national park. The park was founded in 1965 and is the country's first certified national park. Nyika National Park covers an area of more than 3,200 square kilometers located on the Great Nyika Plateau. This area is characterized by rolling hills that resemble a back of a whale. The altitude at Nyika National Park reaches over 2,500 meters. These hills are cut by different streams. Nyika National Park is home to pockets of sheltered evergreen forests. The national park is one of the country's largest conservation areas. Its name, Nyika, means where the water comes from due to its abundant water resources. Nyika National Park boasts over 200 types of orchids in bloom during the rainy season. This makes it the most abundant concentration of orchids in southern Central Africa. Even during other seasons, the grasslands of Nyika are always swarming with wild flowers. Nyika National Park's montane vegetation is a habitat for a wide variety of wildlife such as waterbucks, zebras, and bushbucks. The park is also a haven for more than 400 recorded bird species. The vegetation in the park is diverse, consisting of montane and miombo woodland, heath and grassland, and pockets of evergreen forest. The National Park provides an opportunity to experience the stunning nature, beauty, and the rich biodiversity of Malawi's northern region.
I come from a land where clouds gather around a mountaintop to hear thundering stories of endless possibilities from a world that lies at its feet. A world whose land is riddled with mysterious matrimonies of water and flame, hills and plains, wild and tamed. A land still deemed worthy of raising the sun every day. I come from a grateful land, where a great lake attributes its greatness not only to the biggest rivers, but also the smallest streams. A generous and selfless land that constantly pours out more than it receives. We were molded from this land. Our skins are molten mountain rocks painted onto our flesh. We are one with this land. We are this land. We are mountains of hope reaching for the skies. We are plateaus of peace where tranquility roams free. We are the light of our rising sun, painting the skies from the depths of our souls. We are rivers of tongues flowing into the clear waters of our destiny. We are a warm heart pumping life to the rest of this continent's body, beating in perfect synchrony with a melody in our winds. We are waves of open arms, welcoming with a friendly smile. We are who